So
some of the truths that I have that a lot of people disagree with.
let's assume we take someone, remove them from the community, and then make them live in isolation since when they're babies. What type of a person do you think such a person will become when they grow up?
It's a very difficult one because the environment dictates a lot. As I said earlier, I do not think we are ourselves. I think we are the manifestation and the consequence of our ancestors. So there's going to be embedded biases. It's the reason why you're allergic to certain foods. It's the reason why you like certain foods. It's the reason why certain music sounds good, certain music doesn't. It's the reason why your body is attuned for certain climates. You look at certain white people in the depth of winter, they're wearing shorts and walking barefoot. So you are not just yourself. So even if you were born into isolation, there are biases that you have: climate, diet. You might find yourself wanting to get away from that environment. It's the reason why some people want to move away from the township, why some people want to escape Africa, because something in their body just generally wants to leave and go somewhere else. In a space where you can't move at all, survival. The social experiments have been done. Survival is number one. So while you're there, it's, can I feed myself? Can I have some level of safety? And what does it look like? Is it me fighting physically the lion? Is it me picking up something that looks like a rock, a stick, to poke the lion and push it back? Do I look at the tools I have, my hands and feet, maybe climb up a tree that the lion can't reach? Do I maybe see the lion be like, I think I can eat that? And I take it and I tear it apart and I start biting and it feels funny. So who knows, maybe in my adventures here, something sparks, or the sun, when I put the dead carcass out, it burns the lion flesh and it's easier to consume. So I'm like, oh, this heat, if I can get more of this heat on this meat, it tastes different. If I soak it into seawater with some salt, it has some flavor. And I don't know if that becomes then the progression of the human, but fundamentally survival. You see it when people are imprisoned, and the survival that happens there. The relationships created in prison, whether you want to assimilate with religion, the guys with the most money, the guys that are the most violent. I do believe survival becomes the number one thing. I do not think a human being born into an environment, the Amazon rainforests, is born there saying, I think I want to have a car. I think I want to go to a good school. We are blessed, even in this reality we're in now, that almost every version of humanity can be found somewhere. I explain to people that you do not have to travel outside of South Africa to find parts of the world, specifically Johannesburg. If you want to see pieces of South Africa, you can visit parts of Yeovil, Hillbrow, Sunnyside, and Pretoria. If you want to see parts of India or Western Asia, you can visit Fordsburg, Mayfair. There are certain white neighborhoods which mimic parts of Europe. We've got all types of weather here, cold, hot, etc. All types of languages here, all types of diets. If you want Indian food, Turkish food, you want Nigerian food, you can find it here. Similarly, if you want the heights of wealth, there are parts of South Africa where people live in homes that will blow your mind. And you're like, one human being owns this. You're like, yeah, wild. Thousands of hectares of land. One man. Insane. Servants. And then you find people who are born into not a shack. A shack is still some type of technological advancement. It's pieces of tile, corrugated iron. There are people that live in huts in South Africa, whether they're made of mud, cow dung, straw, sticks, twigs. There are people that to this day fetch water from a river. They might fetch it in a technological tool like a bucket, or they may have made an instrument with cow dung that has been hardened, or clay, which they fetch it in. There are people that still defecate. They take a shit out in the wild. Never mind a toilet, a long drop. Long drops are technological advancement. Never mind an oil lamp. There are people that live on a fire. And if there's no fire and there's no lamp, they go to sleep in their hut. They still go hunt. My father was a hunter. They would hunt with their dogs, buck, rabbits. The braais, Afrikaans people love braaiing over an open flame. We still braai our meat like primitive men. And then some of the things that don't need technological advancement are sex. You know, it's not like, well, outside of a condom. When you and a woman are naked, you go back to being chimp. Nothing else. Maybe you can play some nice music in the background, you know, some soft jams, R&B. But essentially, you're in your most natural state. And the most natural thing happens, which is the attraction through pheromone. The pheromones today are elicited through, do you have money? Do I think you're good looking? Do I think you're athletic? Which is natural, because even in the animal kingdom, the woman wants the strongest.
Oh, yeah.
Her children must have the highest chance of survival.
The
And
best
that means
genes.
good looking, yeah, the best genes. And you guys engage in an act with no social media, no technology, no electricity, no fast cars, no private jet, no fancy diets. It's just raw penis, vagina, pounding, fluids, semen, you know, womb, uterus, baby. Yeah. I don't even know what I was answering. But yeah. Chimpanzees, man. A lot of our dreams are just, they're not what we want. And some of us have got different worldviews to the people that run the world. And some of us are trying to, it's like inventing something from scratch. It's like creating a movie like Spider-Man, Marvel, Captain America, Thor. A lot of our stolen stories, by the way. A lot of those movies are stolen stories. A lot of us would like to manufacture our version of utopia.